Dear class, welcome back to the lecture on media computation, and we were discussing the advanced picture processing. So if you remember, we were discussing last time, we saw that how we change the pixels inside a for loop, and by changing one pixel at a time, by changing one by one all the pixels in the picture, we modify the whole image. So we saw these examples, how it works. And then we saw like this, if we change the red color in all the pictures, red color in all the pixels one by one, it will completely change the whole picture after some time. So remember, what happens is that this pixel changing, it occurs like this: one row, then the next row, then the next row, and so on. Clear? So it happens on a row by row basis. It happens like this. So, and then we saw some exercises. I gave you the exercise that shows that inside the for loop, inside a single for loop, when you try to change the pixels, so you get the pixel and you then change the color of the pixel. So here it is X and the Y is changing. So X is fixed, whereas the Y is changing. So if you have a picture like this, so in that case, remember I told you that X is on this side and Y is on this side. So Y is changing and X is fixed. So somewhere maybe here X is 100. So Y is changing. So that means it will be something like this. You will be drawing a vertical line like this by this method. Now if I ask you, draw a horizontal line. Sometimes these questions come in your written exam also. These are simple programs. You should know how to do it. This is very simple. So it is not so much tougher and it is part of the exam. You should know for your exams how to make it. How to draw a vertical line, how to draw a horizontal line. Be prepared for your exams. Okay. So if I ask you to draw a line, for example, like this. Okay. So this line, for example, it is over here 400. So what's happening? So it is gone somewhere. So 400. So for the 400, if I want to draw a line like this, so then in that case I will put I, comma 400. Is it clear? So drawing is not good. It's not so easy to draw on this screen. So I, comma 400. That's what I have to do. So it will draw a line how long? It depends on this number 250. So it will start at 0 and it will go until 250, where 250 finishes. So I ask you all to practice this in your homes. Practice it a lot. Clear? Then I give you another task, another example where you have got two for loops. So one for loop is inside and one is outside. So these are called nested for loops. So in this case, I told you one for loop, the inner one, it is controlling j, and the outer one is controlling this I. So in this case, if you see again, if I draw the same picture, so you have again got I and j. Okay, but remember j is changing more rapidly, I is changing slowly. So for example, when I is 0, so in that case, j will go through all the values. How many values? From 0 until 200. So it will change like this, and then it will be 1, okay, then it will be 2, and so on until what point? Until 200. So when 200 comes, it will be again drawing the line. And practically I am drawing not neatly, there is a gap, but practically it will be connected boxes. Remember, pixels are like small square boxes. So they will be connected and practically you will see a shaded region completely boxed. Clear? So it will be completely shaded region. So I just wanted to show this shade. It's not like that. So it is just to show you this will be a continuous color. So the color in this case will be a yellow color. Clear? So we discussed this and I gave you this assignment. This is the last week. You have to give this assignment if someone hasn't given me. And I'm sorry, I saw some students, they asked some question. Uh, and the problem with the emails is that so many questions come. So please, if you have any a question, ask here in the group. If you don't want to ask in front of others, send me a separate private message. Okay? Don't email. It's more difficult to manage and check all of the emails. Okay? So ask the questions here in the group or separately. And please don't try to ask the questions like how is my assignment? Is it good? Is it bad? Please don't ask. Check with your fellows. Ask each other that I have created this thing. What do you think about it? Okay. So this was your assignment to make a flag of this country called Central African Republic. Clear? So I hope you have done this. Next, let's go next. Till now we have studied how to make programs, we studied how to make functions, how to make for loops, and then use them to apply different functions like get pixel or set color or get color. So many functions we have done. Remember, it is very important that you should try to understand how to debug your code. Okay, if your code has some problem, how to debug it. Okay, one important step is in your code, if there is some problem, you should be able to know how to walk through your code. So the word used is walk through your code. So walk through or step through your code. Clear? So stepping or walking through your code, it is very important programming skill. If you know how to go through your code slowly, then it will help you to understand if there is some problem in your program. These skills overall we call them the debugging skills. Debugging skill means that bug means mistake. Bug is normally an insect, any small insect. So bug is like in the code, if there is a bug, it means it's mistake. Debugging means removing the mistakes. So debugging is very important because all the time when you write a code, there will be errors that occur. Okay, there is a very famous saying that if you are working on some programming project, 80% of your project you will complete in 20% of time. So below it is time and above it is project status. Okay, 20% of the time you will complete your 80% of the project, but the remaining 20% of the project you will finish it in 80% of the time. What does it mean? Means that 80% of the project you complete in a very small time, 20% time, and this 80% project, it normally means that you will complete all your code, all its documentation, all the details that you have to write. But then when you start testing your code, that is the remaining 80%, 20% of your project. When you start testing, if there is some mistake, there is bug, then at that time you will see there are so many problems. so many mistakes will come out, and you will spend a lot of time, almost 80% of your time, the total time spent on the project, you will spend on that debugging. You will test your project, you will remove mistakes, you will remove errors, and so on. I hope it's clear. So what we just did, that if you saw previously, if you remember this one, what we were doing is we go through the project line by line, one line at a time we go through. Okay, one line at a time we pass through what is happening. Okay, so this is basically called debugging. So what we did is stepping or walking through the program. You consider each step of the program in the order that the computer would execute it. Okay, so you consider what exactly would happen. So always when you are running the code, you should think what will happen on this line, what the computer will do on this line. Your mind should be clear about it. Okay, you don't ask the computer what will happen. Your mind should be clear what should happen, and you will only confirm by looking at the computer what it gives you the output. So you write down what values each variable has at each point. So when you are working with a program, every time you run it, so remember you will have a project to create. So every time you run the program, what happens is that you will have you have to note down the variable values, what value it takes. So it is one of the most important thing that you have debugging skills, and everyone has to do a lot of debugging, especially in the initial times at the start. Clear? So how to do the debugging? Debugging, how to run it. For example, you will ask me, Doctor, I run this code. It's a for loop. When I run it, it will finish very quickly, and I can stop. What should I do? I cannot check the value of 1 pixel. Not possible. Uh, Clear, I know, I understand. There are many other programming languages where you can run the code line by line. At one time, one line will run. I don't know in your programming courses if you did it or not. There is an option in programming that you press the F8 button, and with the help of F8 button, you run one line at a time. So in many softwares like Visual Studio, Microsoft Visual Studio, and also for Python, there is one application where you press the button and it will run one line at a time. First it will run this line, you press F8, then it will go to the next line, and you will control the running of the line. But here in JES, you don't have any such facility for debugging line by line. So there is a shortcut. We can do something. Let me show you. So let's say I go to the JES, and I don't know if I have some program already there. So here I have only one code. So there is some code over here. I think this is the code from the last time. And let's say I want to make a very small line so that I don't have too big a line. Okay, 110, and here it will be maybe from 300 to 310. Okay, and what does this code do? Let me run it. Okay, it makes a small box, yellow box over here, you can see. Yeah, now you want to know or run this code step by step. Okay, so I ask you, for example, and instead of repaint, let me use explore. So run again, save and run. And what I want to do is that here in this case, I ask you people that When you run this code over here, I want to know how it is running, how it works. Okay. So in this case, you can't stop. In some other softwares, in some other compilers, there is a facility. You press a button, and it will stop on each line. One by one, it will run a code line by line. Okay. If you want, sometimes later I will show you. There is a code software. It's called this one, PyCharm. It is used for C, Python, and you run it one by one line. Okay. So let me run another program. So a simple program so that the example is easy to understand for you people. Let me say a equals to 10, b equals to 20, and you say c equals to a plus b, and then you say d equals to 5, and now you say e equal to c multiplied by d. Okay, and then finally you say print e. Now this is a small program that you create. Let me save it as b. You create this program, and when you run it, it will print over here 150, the answer. Okay. Now if I ask you that debug this code line by line, there is no facility here in JS, but you can always use the existing JS functions for this purpose. For example, there are these functions, show information. Use it. How to use it? For example, here you use after a. Okay. So let's say not after a. You have a, b, and then you say c equal to a plus b. You are not sure if c has the correct value, if it is working properly. Because remember, in programming, sometimes it happens. Let's say b is an float and a is an integer. You are not sure what will be the value of c. Okay. So you are confused. So in that case, try to debug it. How? And this trick will help you a lot in your project. So you write over here show information, and then you write over here C. And I think if it gives an error, yeah, it will give an error because the value is integer and show information only works on strings. So I think, yeah, let me test first. No, str only. So what I did over here, I wanted to show the value of C, but C is a number, and show information only shows a message which is a string. If you go back to show information, if you check its help, so what the help says, show information will show an information which is a message. So message is given by the user, and normally the message is string. So if you try to give a number, it will give an error because number is not a string. Number is integer or float, not string. So what you do is you convert the number into a string. Then you can use it in show information. This method is typically called as casting. If you remember from your programming courses, casting, convert one data type into another data type. So what I did over here is I put show information and I check the value. Now the value over here comes out for me is 30.0. So 20.0 plus 10, it will return the type which is float, not integer. Clear? So it gave me some important information. Clear? So this is how it works. When I am satisfied with this step, okay, then what I will do is that I just cut this value and I take it next, maybe here. I want to check. So I want to check what is the value of E before I print it. So I just do over here. So it will be 150.0. Same thing here. Clear? So this is how it works. You can put show information anywhere. Okay, so if you go back now to the other example that we saw previously, can we use it over there? Let's try. So here it is. This is your code. You have two for loops and it will make a box, a square in on the Eiffel Tower image. Okay, now what I will do over here is I will just show, so inside the for loop I will use the same show information and I will show what stri. Clear? So at one time only experiment with one instruction. Don't try to do two instructions at the same time. Now I change only this line. Don't try to do another line at the same time. So I save it, I run. It says it's 100 first time. Okay. First time it comes over here, it will say I is 100. Next time it will go inside, run whole values of j, all the values of j. What will be the value of j? It will be 300, 301, 2, 3 until 309. Okay. Then it will come back and next time I is equal to 101. That's why you are only seeing these values. All the other lines, they run very, very quickly. You don't see. But this line, it will stop over here. So it's important step for debugging. You should trust. Now, for example, if you want to see the changes in j also, so in that case, just copy this. This one. And over here, you put the j. So it is 100, this is I. Okay. To avoid confusion, you can put over here also something like this. I equal to and like this, and then you use the plus sign. So you to add two strings, if you remember chapter 1, you saw add two strings by the plus sign. And here I will add the same thing. I will write j equal to and plus sign. Now you will be sure which one is I, which one is j, the numbers. So here it is I equal to 100, then j is 300. 301, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 until 9, not 10. Then it will be I equal to 101 and again j. So I hope now it is more clear to you how the debugging works. So some softwares which don't allow you to stop on each line, like JES, you can force it by using these functions like show information. But there are out there plenty of softwares like Microsoft Visual Studio. And in Microsoft Visual Studio, it supports all the languages, C++, Java, everything, and also Python. And you can over there use the built-in functions that will allow you to run the code line by line. Every time a line is running, it will make that line yellow color. So one line is yellow color means that is running. It goes to the next line, and as quickly you press the F8 button, as quickly the yellow line will change. I hope it's clear. So this is it. We discussed a lot about the stepping. This is an important step. This is not part of this course. It is something I expect that you already know from your programming courses. So, but I just cover over here for an overview. Okay. So here it is in this media computation. What we can do is, for example, you have an image like this one, and you convert that image. So this image, you convert that into a changed background. This we will do a little later. Okay. So think what we have done till now. So did we change the program at all? What we do normally? We change a little bit things and the whole behavior changes. So in the decrease red, if you see, you have a value variable that stores the get red. And then you multiply the value by 0.5, means that if the value is 100, you make it 50 and you set this red value. If previously it was 100, now it becomes, so let me write it down. If the previously it was 100, now it becomes 50. Previously it was 200, now it will be 100. So it will work because it will apply the change on all the pixels and the whole picture will change. So whatever picture you provide, it will change everything in that picture. So we can say that this is like our cooking recipe, and we have created this code that will decrease the red color. Clear? And just like any cooking recipe, you will give some input. You will give something. For example, you want to cook some food, you want to cook some rice food, you want to create mandi, then you need rice to begin with. So here also you want to prepare something, you need some ingredients or some input. In this case, the input is a picture. Okay, so you provide this picture from the outside, and this picture, when you provide it from the outside, it comes inside and you take all its pixels one by one. And what you do, you convert those pixels, their value, you reduce it to half, multiply it by 0.5. So there are two steps. First of all, get all the pixels of the PICT. So PICT represents the picture, and each pixel you store it in the P variable. So remember, in our code we used to use P variable for picture, but here they are using P variable for pixel. So it's not problem, but normally still I prefer the same terminology. P use it for picture and PX use it for pixel. And if you have a pixel array, many pixels, then you use PXLS. This is the notion I commonly use, but it's up to you. Okay. So you use this variable to store the pixels, and in the second step, so this was the first step over here. In the second step, what you do is that get the value of the red for each pixel P and set it to 50% of its original value. Clear? This is how it works. So some pictures that have more red color, you will feel this change a lot. For example, this is the picture of Santa Claus. So the person and the background both are red colors. So when you remove red or reduce the red color, what will happen is that you will feel as if it becomes black. This background will become black. Clear? So here it is. You see, I don't know if you can closely watch, maybe you will be able to see that it has become black, or it feels black because the red has gone, and for the dress and the background it was mostly red. Other colors were already almost zero. For example, here red value was maybe high, 100, and the other colors were already almost zero, maybe 0, and B maybe, I don't know, something very close to 0, maybe 5. And when you make red equal to 0, the others are already 0, so it becomes black. So this is what happens. So when you reduce the red color again and again, it will become almost black. So here I think they have applied the decrease red 2 times. So here you see, pick a file, make a picture, you apply the decrease red 1 time and show this picture. So it is this one over here. So this is a little bit reduced red. Second time you apply the decrease red again and you repaint the picture. So it is this one. I told you before, show and repaint, they are almost same thing. The only difference is that repaint will refresh that image. So second time it will become even more reduced red color. You can also use the explore function, and explore is the one that I normally like. Clear? If you have asked questions, ask. You can pause here and ask in the groups. Next thing that comes after this is if you have modified a picture and you want to save the results. This will happen in your project. Very important. So to save the picture, the answer is very simple. You use this function writePictureTo, and remember P and T are capital, and you will give the variable and the name of the file. Here this is wrong. Here the inverted commas will be the other one. So remember, whenever you copy the code from the slides, you will make sure you put the commas again. Okay. So it will save the file. Now where it will save it? What do you think? It will save the file in the same folder where you have your JES. Not in your media sources. It will save the file in your JES folder where your JES frog icon. Or if you want to save it somewhere else, then in that case you have to give the complete path. For example, C media sources something something something. Clear? So it will write or save the picture out as JPEG or JPG. JPG is a very common file format, which is the one mostly standard format used. For example, you save any image on your mobile phone, it is in JPG. So remember the file name that you will give, always make sure it ends with .jpg. If you don't give .jpg, maybe you will get errors. So if you don't specify the complete path, the file will be saved in the same directory as JES. So here I show you how it works, but make sure you practice on your computers. Without practice, you will never be good. So let's say I save this picture. I want to save it. So this picture is with me. So to save it, I will write over here, writePictureTo, and I want to save which picture? My pic. And I will give the path. I will only give it the name. Same name I will give it, mypic.jpg. And now when I run the code, it will save it somewhere. I need to remove one important more step. Debugging is used to find mistakes in the code. When you are finished with debugging, when your project is ready, for example, you want to show your project in the final presentation, at that time you will comment out these lines. Normally people don't remove these lines. Maybe they need it again. So put a comment. So put a hash sign. This will make it green color, which means it's a comment. Now it is not active, this line. So now run it. So this is it. Now where to find this picture? So go to the same folder where you have JES. So this is it, media computation, JES, and here I see my jes.exe file, and there is my pic.jpg. It will be the same Eiffel Tower with a box. Practice it yourself, and I give you a task. Do it yourself. Maybe after the vacations we'll check. The task for you people is that take the, where is it? Do I not have the materials? Maybe media sources. So in the media sources, you take the image of take this image, clock tower, okay, and draw a box that will hide this clock, and then save it on your computer as a JPG file. Okay, save it as a JPG file on your computer. Clear? Don't skip the tasks, very important. Without this, similar questions for your exam, you will have trouble. So this is your task. Now coming back, next what happens is if you increase the red color. Till now we have seen to decrease the red color. What if I increase the red color? Increasing means you, instead of writing a value over here which is smaller, so let me take the pen, I will put over here a value which is greater than 1. Okay, before the value was over here 0.5. Okay, that means it will reduce the value. How you can know if it is increase or decrease? Very simple. Just imagine your value equal to v equal to 100. Okay, so when it is equal to 100, just imagine after this step what will happen, what will be the result. So v will become, after this step, v multiplied by 1.2. So 1.2 multiplied by 100, just do it, it will come out 120. So what do you think? Value increased or decreased? It was increased. Before it was 100, now it is 120. Now let's say you multiply it by 0.5. So in that case, if v is 100, it will become 0.5 multiplied by 100. Try it, it will be 50. So the summary is, if the number is greater than 1, the multiplier, then you will increase. If the number is less than 1, you will decrease. And if the number is equal to 1, what will happen? Nothing. Multiply by 1, anything is same. Okay, so make sure you understand this thing clearly. More than 1, increase, less than 1, decrease. And less than 1 means it is between 0 and 1. So 0, the value I, for example, will be between 0 and 1. So you can increase how much value? You can increase it until the limit of 255. That's the maximum limit for any color. There is an option given in JES which is a dangerous option. It's called the modulo option. So if it is selected, so I will show you where is the modulo option. So here, if you go in JES, edit options, there is an option modulo pixel color values by 256. What does it means? For example, your pixel value was 100. Okay, and you multiply 100 by 3.5. The factor that you multiply with is 3.5. So what will happen? So let me write it down. So let's let's say your v value is 100. Okay, and you multiply it by 3.5. v multiplied by 3.5. What will be the result? It will be equal to 350. Now 350 is too big, more than 255 maximum value. Maximum value is 255. Okay, there are two cases that can happen. If this option over here, modulo, if it is not selected, not, the word is not selected, then the value will increase. So for example, it increases between 0 and 255 range, and when it reaches 255, it will stop. So v multiplied by 3.5, it will be only 255, maximum value possible. If this option is selected, so this is the case, not selected, not. If it is selected, this option, yes. Okay, then in that case 350 will be modulo, it will be done mod operator. 350 will be mod with 256. What does mod mean? Mod is a typical function in the programming. I don't know if you did it before, but mod function, it gives us the remainder. So for example, I do like this 3. So or I do like this, for example 10. mm, Sorry, somewhere open 10 mod 3. What should be the answer? 10 mod 3. 10 mod 3 will give you the remainder from this operation. So 3 is 9 and the remainder is 1. Is it clear? Mod operator means modulus operator or modulo operator. So remember, if you use 256, you divide it, 350 divided by 256, definitely 256, 1 is 256 and the remaining answer will be 350 minus 256, which will be equal to, I think, 94. Clear? This is how it works. So always the answer that comes with this modulo operator, always the answer will come between 0 and 255. Okay, but this is a very dangerous thing. Why it is dangerous? Let's say your pixel value v is equal to 255. Okay, and you do a small modification. You say v, let's change v equal to v plus 1. Okay, now you add only one value, only one number. Okay, what should be the answer? It should be 256. Okay, if the modulo is not selected, the answer will be 255, no change. But if this option is selected, what will happen? 256 mod 256. What is the remainder when you divide 256 with 256? Yes, it will be 0. So directly you see a rounding of the 255. If you add 1, it is just like you see a counter. You have seen a small counter tasbih. You reach the maximum value 999. When you press one more, it becomes 0. Same thing happens here. 255, you add 1, it becomes 0. But it's very dangerous. Why? 255 was the brightest color. You add one small value to increase it, it becomes the darkest color. So it's not a good thing. From the point of view of picture processing or media computation, it's not a good option. So this was a little bit of idea about increasing red and then the modulo. Be careful about it. If you have any questions, you can ask always in the groups. Okay. So pause it, think over it, ask questions. There are many more things that you can do with the colors with the same method. So remember the procedure we saw previously, for loop, and inside the for loop you write some code. This will be used in the remaining whole chapter. This is the same structure that will be used to do many advanced things. Okay. So here we have seen that previously we reduced the red color. You can use the same principle to remove the color, for example. So remember previously we used 2 steps. So we get the red color. Okay, so let me change the color and put it a blue color. So you over here have this. You get the red color and then you multiply it with some value to increase or decrease it. But if you want to make the color 0, so if you want to make a color 0, why should you read it? Don't read. No need for get blue. Just make it set blue 0, p, 0. So what it will do is that each pixel it will select, and in the each pixel it will make it 0. I hope it's clear. Very important point. So again, This will work for any picture. From any picture, it will just plainly remove the blue color. Okay. And again, if you are not clear, try to use the same method I showed you, show information. Try stepping through this code. Try to see what happens in your code. Okay. I didn't try, but can we use the stepping method with the printing the colors? Let's try. So here, if you have this stepping method, not this one maybe. Can I use it to print the value of the pixel? So can I use it, for example, to say, but I can always use PIX print. Don't try to print PIX because it will print millions of pixels and it will halt your computer, crash your computer. So show information. Can I do PIX? I don't know. It will accept, it only accepts string. So it will give error. No. Can I convert PIX to a string? I don't know. Let's see. So string PIX. Yes, it can convert. So here you see what it does is that it says that first time when I run the pixel value, it does like this. Before making any changes, it makes it like this: pixel red equal to 177, green 177, blue is 179. Okay, so it will do like this, and let me stop it. And you can do it 2 times. After the code also you can put again. Okay, and it is up to you. You can put over here some fancy things, like you can say before. I did a mistake. No mistake. And here I can put after. Okay, so let's see. Here I run. Before is this value, same we have seen earlier. After it is red and green are maximum because it's a yellow color, and blue is 0. Yellow is made from red and green, so blue is 0. So here I did a little bit of debugging. Can you see this? Very important thing. You should know this thing, how it works. Try it at home. Without practice, you will never learn programming. Believe me. So here it is. Try this thing with this code. Okay. Put one show information over here before set blue, and put another show information here after set blue. What happens? Clear? So I will record another short video. Just practice on this, and then next time I will start with the sunset, which is very important concept. So I will keep them short so that you can focus on the things, and every time we have a specific topic. So we finish here. We will continue with some